Penguin Random House Audio presents The Way of Integrity, Finding the Path to Your True Self, read for you by the author, Martha Beck, with a note written and read by Maria Shriver.
Dear You, years ago, these words attributed to Rumi found a place in my heart. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Ever since I read that, I've cultivated an image of what I call the open field, a place out beyond fear and shame, beyond judgment, loneliness, and expectation. A place that hosts the reunion of all creation. It's the hope of my soul to find my way there. And whenever I hear an insight or a practice that helps me on the path, I love nothing more than to share it with others. That's why I've created the open field. My hope is to publish books that honor the most unifying truth in human life. We are all seeking the same things. We are all seeking dignity. We are all seeking joy. We are all seeking love and acceptance, seeking to be seen, to be safe. And there's no competition for these things that we seek because they are not material goods. They are spiritual gifts. We can all give each other these gifts if we share what we know, what has lifted us up and moved us forward. That is our duty to one another, to help each other toward acceptance, towards peace, towards happiness. And my promise to you is that the books published under this imprint will be maps to the open field, written by guides who know the path and want to share it. Each title will offer insights, inspiration, and guidance for moving beyond the fears, judgments, and the masks we all wear. And when we take off those masks, guess what? We will see that we are the opposite of what we thought. We are each other. We are all on our way to the open field. We are all helping one another along the path. I'll meet you there. With love, Maria Shriver.
To my family, you light my way. Introduction. Even if you're not a frequent flyer, this has probably happened to you. The plane is fully boarded. Everyone's laptops are stowed. The flight attendants have done their mandatory dance about the seat belts and the floor lights and the oxygen masks that will not inflate. Then, just as you expect to roll away from the gate, everything stops. The captain's sheepish voice crackles through the cabin. Sorry, folks, we have a slight malfunction. Probably just a glitch, but we need to call some mechanics to check. We're looking at a bit of a wait. A ripple of woe runs through the passengers. Your heart sinks. How long will you be trapped in this uncomfortable seat between a man who reeks of cheap cologne and a fretfully teething baby before the plane finally flies? But after this initial burst of dismay, everyone heaves a sigh and settles in. You all approve of the crew's caution. You're about to travel 5 miles above Earth's surface in this mighty machine. No one, not even the baby, wants the plane taking off if it's not in perfect structural integrity. This book, as you may have gleaned from the title, is all about integrity. But I don't mean this in a moralizing sense. The word integrity has taken on a slightly prim, judgmental nuance in modern English, but the word comes from the Latin integer, which simply means intact. To be in integrity is to be one thing, whole and undivided. When a plane is in integrity, all its millions of parts work together smoothly and cooperatively. If it loses integrity, it may stall, falter, or crash. There's no judgment here, just physics. As above in aerodynamics, so below in our everyday lives. When you experience unity of intention, fascination, and purpose, you live like a bloodhound on a scent, joyfully doing what feels truest in each moment. Your daily work, whether it's writing computer code, gardening, or building houses is so absorbing that at the end of the day, you don't really want to stop. But when you do, you enjoy hanging out with loved ones so much, and sleep is so delicious, you can't imagine anything sweeter. And when you wake up the next morning, the day ahead seems so enticing, you practically bound out of bed. If you're like many people I've coached, you may be rolling your eyes right now. It may sound like I'm wearing rose-colored glasses and munching antidepressants like jelly beans. You may never have felt the kind of sustained joie de vivre I'm describing. You might not believe that such a fulfilling life is possible. It is. Tragically, many people go their whole lives without ever learning this, never experiencing the joyful ease that comes with full integrity. Some of these folks are massively misaligned, their lives an endless string of failures and crushed dreams. You may know a few: the friend from high school who keeps landing himself in prison, the cousin who marries one unfaithful scumbag after another, the colleague who seems to sabotage every project she undertakes. These folks are like airplanes whose major components, like wings and engines, are out of whack. Your own life is probably somewhere between utterly blissful and completely wrecked. You have a vague sense of purpose, which you hope to follow someday. Though your job isn't perfect, it's good enough, and your relationships are fine, mostly. Yes, there are times when someone, your spouse, your kids, your parents, your boss, makes you want to fake your own death and move to a hotel in the Cayman Islands. But honestly, it's fine. You don't feel bad, just vaguely anxious, uncomfortable, and disappointed. And it's perfectly normal that your mind tends to linger on regrets about plans that didn't work out and doubts that your dreams will ever come true. When I meet clients who fit this description and suggest that their lives could be better, they often protest that they're doing fine, just fine. Look, they say, life is a bitch and then we die. Failure is much more common than success. We can't just flap our arms and fly. They think they're simply accepting the bitter truth. But what I hear is the clank of stray bolts and loose parts, the sound of a human who has never experienced complete alignment of body, mind, heart, and soul. Again, this isn't a moral judgment. If you don't always feel wonderful, it doesn't mean you're faulty or bad. In fact, I'd bet you've spent your entire life trying to be good. And there's nothing defective about you. You're a highly functional, sophisticated creature. At the deepest level, you know what makes you happy and how to create your best possible life. That knowledge is coded into your very nature. But your nature is forever colliding with a force that can tear it apart: culture. By culture, I don't mean opera or surrealist painting. I'm talking about any set of social standards that shapes the way people think and act. Every group of humans, from couples to families to cell blocks to sewing circles to armies, has cultural rules and expectations that help them cooperate. Some of these are explicit, like traffic laws or workplace dress codes. Others are implicit, like the assumption that when you go to a nice restaurant for dinner, you'll use silverware instead of plunging your face directly into your food like a truffle pig. Humans create elaborate cultures because we are intensely social beings, dependent on the goodwill of others from the moment we're born. We also have an enormous capacity to absorb and replicate the behavior of people around us. From childhood, often without even noticing it, we learn exactly how to win approval and belonging in our particular cultural context. We act bubbly, quiet, or brave to please our families. We immediately begin to like whatever our friends say they like. We throw ourselves into schoolwork, babysitting, family feuds, whatever we believe will assure our place in the human world. In this rush to conform, we often end up ignoring or overruling our genuine feelings, even intense ones like longing or anguish, to please our cultures. At that point, we're divided against ourselves. We aren't in integrity, one thing, but in duplicity, two things. Or we may try to fit in with a number of different groups living in multiplicity, many things. We abandon our true nature and become pawns of our culture, smiling politely, sitting.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?